Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kara Melendi, and I want to share with you a look at the astrology for 2019, some of the main themes that are coming up. And since we are preparing to enter a new year, I know for many of us, we're thinking about New Year's resolutions and our goals and the vision that we have for this coming year. So I want to kind of touch on that as well, and how to harness the energy and the excitement of a new year and keep that going all the way through the year. Because often what happens is we have all this excitement as we approach a new year, right? And it is a beautiful energy to kind of tap into that collective excitement of a new beginning and set our intentions. But often what happens is a couple of months in, we lose that excitement and we fall back into our old patterns. So I want to share how to kind of keep that excitement going and how that relates to the astrology of 2019. So say hi if you're jumping in. Oh my goodness, I almost feel like I have to catch my breath. I just ran, I ran upstairs to grab something before I ran back down to my office and just press live right away. I'm like, oh my goodness, catch my breath again. But yeah, say hi if you're here. Marla, Katarzyna, Tammy, Lynn, and Lisa, hello. Share this out if you're feeling called to do so as well. And yeah, so much goodness to discuss. And when I was looking at some of the charts for next year, some of the overall themes and trends that we're seeing, it really is a cool year. It's a lot of excitement, and I almost feel like the new moon in Sagittarius that we experienced and Jupiter shifting into Sagittarius, it's almost like the energy of a new year now. So let me know if you resonate with that and if you're already feeling that excitement. The new year has started, I want to move forward on my resolutions now. And Sagittarius energy, a boost of Sagittarius energy, where also the sun is in Sagittarius right now, it can really do that. It can build the excitement for the vision that we have for our life, for where we are going, what we want to manifest. And yeah, it's a really cool feeling just to kind of harness that and be able to set intentions around that. All right, so say hi as you jump on and join. Oh, Kelly, it's great that you could catch me live. Welcome. And Donna, Ty, Genevieve, hello, Brenda, Wanda. Awesome. All right. So where to start with this? I think maybe I will talk a little bit more about the Jupiter and Sagittarius shift that we recently did see. I did do another video on that, but it is such a big theme as we kind of go into this next year, because the overall theme of this past year really has been looking internally, learning to look within and discover who our true self really is. What do we really want and need at a soul level? How do we nourish our soul? How do we really care for ourselves? And also looking at what are some of the beliefs or patterns that I'm holding on to that actually hold me back from manifesting my goals and moving forward. And I think 2018 was a year of kind of uncovering that and really releasing that. And now we are ready for this new adventure. We are opening up to what is to come. And with Jupiter and Sagittarius for most of 2019, that really is a theme that's going to carry through, that sense of excitement, that sense of new beginning, that sense of adventure. Now, what kind of grounds this out? Because some of the shadow side of Jupiter and Sagittarius is we are so focused on the big vision that it kind of takes us away from the power of the moment. And I've realized more so lately than ever before, and I think a lot of this has to do with the work that I've been doing in the Akashic Records as well, is our power truly is in the moment. And I know years ago I read that book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, and logically I got sure life is happening in the now. If we're not present and we're always focused on what is to come, then we kind of miss our life. But through my exploration and journey into the Akashic Records, I really got that on a deeper level, because it is in this now moment, it is in the present moment that we are actually paving the way for the future. Like the energy that we're putting out in this moment, the beliefs that we are focused on, the thoughts that we are entertaining, that is paving the way for what the future is going to look like. And at the same time, it determines how we see our past. Like if you've ever noticed when you're in a really good mood, the memories that you recall are different than when you're feeling kind of depressed or anxious. So when you're aware, like in this moment of the frequency you're tapping into, because it is in this moment where you're able to access that realm of infinite possibility, it's almost like you can rewrite your past as well, because you're seeing it through new eyes. So it's really cool. It's really neat. And how that kind of relates to this, like, Sagittarius energy and being aware of the shadow side is we want to have that larger vision. So even in terms of maybe like your own business, what you want to manifest, what you want to call in, but at the same time recognizing that it's what you're actually doing in this moment, it's the habits that you're cultivating in this moment and that become a part of your regular routine that'll actually get you to that larger vision. So that's important to keep in mind with the Sagittarius energy. It can also be like we're falling into this trap or way of seeing things like the grass is always greener on the other side. So thinking that we have to get somewhere before we can actually feel this sense of fulfillment. So it's also realizing that no, it's like in this moment, I can choose to tap into any energy that I desire. I can choose to activate that now, and getting away from that thinking that there's somewhere I have to be, there's something that I have to accomplish before I can experience that. So let me know if that's resonating with you. Caitlin, hi, welcome, beautiful. Katarzyna, I'm super high on energy. It's eight days to my birthday. Oh, exciting. Countdown is on. And, you know, going back to that idea of like setting the New Year's resolutions, and it's so cool. Like, I'm going to tell you why. That reminded me of that, Katarzyna, when you mentioned your birthday, because you know, I think like our birthday is our new astrological year, and there is something exciting about that, and there is like energy and momentum that builds around our birthday, and we're paving the way for a new astrological year. And I think it's the same with the new calendar year as well. Like, I'm all for setting goals and New Year's resolutions, and of course we don't have to wait till our birthday or a new year to do that, but it is a really good time to like tap into the excitement that is kind of in the collective or that's built within us and harness that. And I think that's why with like the New Year's resolutions, or maybe you don't call it New Year's resolutions, but I'm sure you have like goals or like some kind of vision or an intention, or maybe you go in with like certain words that you want to capture your experience with for 2019. Part of the reason why I think we build so much momentum around that early on, and we like see the changes for the first couple of months, is because we have that excitement. But in order to keep that going long term, that's where it really comes down to like the habits that you're cultivating. And I think it comes a point in our life when we're cultivating these new habits where it's uncomfortable, and that's where we tend to fall back into old ways of doing things. So if you can recognize that within yourself and realize that when the excitement starts to maybe like wear off a little bit and it's easier to go back into old ways of doing things, that's where you have to realize it's like in that process where you're creating a new reality for yourself and bringing it back to the power of the present moment. Who do I want to be in this moment? What is the energy that I'm calling in to help me manifest the goals and where I'm going? And in terms of the astrology, what's really going to balance out the Sagittarius energy is Capricorn. We have Saturn in Capricorn throughout 2019. We have Pluto in Capricorn throughout 2019. Both of those planets were there actually throughout this past year as well, and they will be there the following year, like 2022. But we're working with that energy with Capricorn of building a solid foundation. So it balances out the Sagittarius energy of like having that bigger vision of where we want to go, because Capricorn gets us to really look at, do you have that plan in place? Do you have that foundation to build on? Like Capricorn's represented by the mountain goat, and it's like slowly climbing its way to the top, but there's no going back, there's only going forward. So that's an interesting energy to work with, because it's really calling us to fully step up as well and to not fall back into our old identity. And I think I did a post on this a few days ago, but sometimes it can even feel like a grieving process to let go of some of those old belief systems, to let go of some of our old ways of doing things. But that's necessary if we want to really move forward. And the cosmic energy this year, with all that Capricorn energy combined with Sagittarius, it is about moving forward. Sagittarius is like locking in that vision, where you want to go, right? And dreaming big, aiming higher, like seeking out higher truth. It is that energy of the seeker. And then Capricorn is, let's build a solid foundation. So you're only moving forward, you're not going backwards. So it's actually a really nice balance together. All right, let me check here what's happening in the chat. Say hi if you're just jumping on. Tony, hello, and Shirley, Rita, hello, hello. So glad to catch you live. I'm glad you're here, Rita. Welcome. Katarzyna, I set intentions and choose a word as my theme. This year was authenticity. Oh, that's beautiful. Love that. That's a good one. That's a good one for sure. And I think that's part of the title. It's like getting back to courage to be the true you. I think is what I said, soul expansion, courage to be the true you, because it can take that courage, right? To be our true self and to kind of like strip away the old stories, strip away the old belief patterns. And when I say like courage to get back to being your true self, that is what I mean. It's like if you could strip away the beliefs that you have around who you are, or what the world looks like, or the stories you've created, and you kind of like strip all that away, it's like, well, who are you then? And another way to see that is like seeing yourself through the eyes of your higher self, who knows you are worthy, who knows your potential, who knows your creative power. And when you stay connected to that, you enjoy the present moment, you're able to manifest with ease, and you're able to like reach that vision that you have, whatever it is. But you also recognize that it really is a journey, right? There is never a final destination. It is only a journey. And that's where it really does all come back to the now. So am I enjoying this moment, this present moment? Because essentially that is what our life is made of, right? It's all these moments. So if we're focusing, harnessing our energy and setting that intention to show up fully in the moment, then we will have that life that's filled with experiences that we enjoy, right? Despite some of the challenges, if we always hold that intention in our heart to stay in alignment and to be our true self, to be authentic, as Katarzyna says, then we have that sense of fulfillment in our life. Hello, Jenny. Oh, Kate's here. Welcome, Goddess. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the Capricorn energy. What's really cool about this, so we do have Saturn there, and Saturn's in its home sign as well in Capricorn, so that's really neat. Pluto in Capricorn, we have 3 eclipses happening in Capricorn too. And eclipses signal change and transformation. So with all this Capricorn energy, Capricorn's also the sign of like career and public standing. So it's how we're presenting ourselves to the world. So there can be a really big focus this year where you're probably looking at, what is my career path? What feels fulfilling for me? And being very practical with it too. Capricorn's a very practical sign. It's also an earth sign. So it's looking at like day to day, again, like what are the practical things that I need to have in place to get to where I want to go? And what I love about Capricorn energy, especially in like its highest form of expression, is it's able to focus on that goal. It's able to hold the intention and not allow like how I'm feeling moment to moment to get in the way of that. Like Capricorn's just really good at saying, okay, it basically developing a sense of discipline. So this is what I want my life to look like. This is what I want to manifest. So what do I need to do today to get there? And not allowing like the fear mind or to get overly caught up in the emotion of it. So that's a really good energy that we can kind of harness and tap into to develop like that sense of discipline in our life, and even asking yourself, like, what are the practices that I need to cultivate? What are the practices that I need to draw into my experience that I know are going to benefit me? And maybe that's like taking more time for meditation. Maybe that's taking time for a journaling practice. Could be exercise, right? Could be any number of things, but it's just being honest with yourself. Like, do I have those daily practices in place that are actually supporting my success? And with this focus on Capricorn, it's going to help us get those things in place. And What's really interesting about this as well is we have the North Node in Cancer, which is the opposite of Capricorn. So you can probably like tell by how I'm explaining this Capricorn energy, it is like a masculine approach. So we are going to be looking at the divine masculine this year as well. And because the eclipses are happening, I think there's going to be changes in how we work with the masculine energy. And we're probably going to see these changes on like a larger scale in businesses and how they're ran and all of that stuff, changes that we're in need of, right? As well as in our own life, changing our unique approach to like business and work and scheduling and all those things. But with the opposite, like with the North Node in Cancer, the opposite of Capricorn, the North Node is where we're being called toward. And the North Node in Cancer is a connection to the divine feminine. It is the connection to our feelings. So we're also looking at, how do I balance both? How do I get this sense of discipline in my life? So I'm looking at like having a daily routine that really supports me and helps me reach my goals, but at the same time offers like that sense of joy, that sense of pleasure, and allows me to creatively express myself. Because we're kind of, with like the North Node in Cancer, that's where we're being called, but it's like we haven't mastered that yet. And we know that as a collective, we're learning how to like reconnect to the power of the divine feminine, how to reconnect with that goddess energy. And we're looking at how that works with the masculine. How do they work together? So let me know if this is resonating with you. Also feel free to share with me as well, like what are your intentions for the new year? What are your goals? What are your resolutions? Or maybe you've chosen some words that you really want to like harness or step into this year. I'd love to hear that and just hold that space for you. And it's so powerful to like put that out there and share our intentions and share what we're creating. I feel like another step in the manifestation process, going from like having this vision we hold within us to then putting that out into the world. Leah saying, nice earrings. Oh, thank you. I don't wear earrings too often. Honestly, I'm like, I'm going to put these on for the video. I used to have like a ton of earrings that I wear, but thank you. All right, who else is here? We have Michelle jump in, Lori, Amy, Chris. Definitely say hi as you join. I love to be able to greet you, and Facebook doesn't always show me all the names as you join. All right, so what are some other themes this year? Another big one I really want to talk about too is Chiron in Aries. So we kind of got a taste of this like earlier this year. We did have Chiron in Aries, and then it was retrograding back into Pisces, and it also like fit with this theme of doing the deep shadow work this year, doing like a lot of healing that felt like it was generational. And from the women that I have been working with, I really got that feeling. It's like the things that I'm releasing now and clearing feel like they go so deep. It's like, it's major, right? We're doing a lot of that. So throughout 2019, we're going to have Chiron in the sign of Aries. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Chiron is representative of the wounded healer. So with Chiron in Aries, we're really taking a look at our identity. We're looking at how I present myself to the world. And Aries energy is about tapping into that strength that we find within us. It's that ability to like face any challenges in our life head on, realizing how powerful we are and that we have the strength within us to like rise above the challenge. So Chiron in Aries may point out in certain ways where we feel like an insecurity in ourselves, or where we're lacking self-esteem, and help us heal that so we can fully come to a place of loving and accepting and embracing ourselves. Because I think Chiron in Aries, like one of the biggest lessons we learn with this is what self-love looks like, how I love myself, right? Because we need that. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's kind of paving the way for everything else, and everything else in our life flows more smoothly when we first realize that we can love ourselves. And I think this goes back to connecting to our true self as well, because if we're looking at ourselves from just the fear mind or the ego, it's so easy to kind of notice or point out some of the things that we did wrong, or notice why we may be unlovable, why we're not lovable. But if we're looking through the eyes of our higher self, that doesn't exist, right? It's just pure love. There is no fear mind, or there is no room for guilt, right? It's easier to love ourselves. So those are some of the lessons we're working with Chiron and Aries, and it may also be this feeling of kind of like taking on a new identity in many ways, like showing up differently now that you have done the clearing and the releasing and you're ready to move forward. Leah, I'm just going to read some of these comments here. Stepping up to the next level of my journey. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful. And the Capricorn energy this year, it's actually encouraging us all to step up, because Capricorn, it wants us to be the best that we can be. It wants us to be successful, however we define that. And it is really important that, of course, you define success on your terms. What does success look like for you? But either way, Capricorn is like, step up. Be the best person you can be. Be that next level you, for sure. Hi, Cindy. Welcome, Goddess. Oh, Sharon, I'm glad you caught me live, too. Connect with higher self. Yes. And, you know, it really is just setting that intention, right? Our higher self knows that we are worthy, knows our power as a creator, knows that we can manifest what we desire, knows we are lovable. Like, those things aren't even a question in the eyes of our higher self. And I think Chiron and Aries is going to be looking at some of that. And because it is Chiron, the wounded healer, it can maybe trigger spots in our identity or ways of seeing ourselves that may kind of feel like, right, we still have an insecurity, but it's meant to be released and healed so we can step into self-love, and then we can move forward in achieving our goals and having that bigger vision. And it's kind of like taking it back to what our true soul purpose is, because it can be easy to get off track with that as well. Like, we can, you know, get caught up in what other people are doing or the New Year's resolutions they're setting, and all we really have to do is like look within. How do I define success, right? What do I want to achieve for myself? That's all we need to focus on and ask. We don't want to get caught up in like how other people are defining that. Hi, Tony, welcome. So I also want to say as well, I do still have a couple spots open. So if you want to know your 2019 astrology and you want to explore your Akashic records, I'm offering clearings and soul activations in the space of the Akashic records, as well as like a detailed look at your 2019 astrology. So if you're wondering like how all these shifts are personally affecting you and your chart, how to harness that, send me a message and we can definitely set something up, and you can figure out how to call in that energy and how to manifest in your life by working with these overall themes. Because even like looking at, right, Jupiter's move into Sagittarius, what that means is it's happening somewhere unique in each of our charts, and wherever that's happening for you is an area where you are being called to expand and grow this year. Wherever all this like Capricorn energy is falling for you is an area of your life where you are being called to step up and develop that solid foundation. So it's really neat with astrology. We see these overall themes, and then it also like applies to each of us differently, because we all have our own birth chart. We all have our unique soul blueprint and our own unique journey as well. All right, so let's see. Any more questions, comments? Feel free to share, ask questions as you jump on. Hi, Catherine. Tony is trusting and surrendering to my authentic self, self-love, listening to my intuition, being present. Beautiful. And that's another theme that we're going to see this year as well. We have Neptune in Pisces and its home sign. It's been here the last few years. Neptune moves very slowly through the zodiac, but part of Neptune in Pisces has been a rise of intuitive work. Like you've probably seen online, right? More intuitive coaches. And I love that. It's like we're understanding and appreciating the value of we have the answers within us. And we all have intuitive and psychic gifts. Like it's not a question about whether you have these abilities. The question is, do you trust them? And have you practiced listening to them? It's kind of early on in our life, we can get away from actually trusting and listening to what our body knows that we need. But we do know. We just have to trust ourselves again. So Neptune still in Pisces this year is that opportunity to really work on like cultivating your intuitive gifts and your psychic abilities, and trust that, yes, you do have the answers within you. You know what is going to be best for you in your life. And that's the place to look. And from there, you may be guided to work with certain people, to listen to certain things, to travel certain places. But if you're listening to your intuition first, you can trust that it's coming from a place of alignment. And when you're staying connected to your higher self, you're going to be taking actions that are in your highest and best good, right? So I'm so glad you mentioned that, Tony, because that's one of the energies that as a collective, we're really going to be practicing on working with those intuitive gifts. And I think now that the North Node is in Cancer, the mother of the zodiac, the divine feminine, it's also bringing us back to our intuitive abilities, because that's such a big part of the goddess energy. The divine feminine is about trusting our intuition and trusting the wisdom of our body. And that really flows into like another theme that we're seeing this year in the cosmos as well, with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And this is a really interesting mix, because Taurus is the energy of being connected to Mother Earth, connected to the wisdom of your body, enjoying like the beauty and the pleasures of the physical world. And then Uranus is all about change and transformation and progression and like disrupting the status quo. So another theme that you may see coming up in your life this year is learning to get comfortable with stepping outside of your comfort zone. So looking at where in your life you're attached to doing things a certain way, but it actually may not be serving you anymore. It's like and that's where, going back to this idea of like setting New Year's resolutions or new intentions, and why within a few months we may find we're back in the same place. Once it gets uncomfortable, it's easy for us, right, to go back into old patterns. But if you start to see that discomfort, that's where the change is taking place. That's where you have the choice to look at who you want to be, the life you want to live, the results you want to get, and choose to move forward despite some of the discomfort. And Uranus and Taurus, I think, in our personal life is going to be showing us that. It's also going to bring about like a reconnecting back to the power of Mother Earth and the healing properties that are coming from that. So I'm thinking more like natural healing remedies coming back. All my crystal lovers, let me know if I have any fellow crystal lovers here. I love working with crystals, and I feel with Uranus now in Taurus this year, and this will also carry on, we got a few years to work with this, but we're going to be appreciating the work of crystals in a whole new way, and like the energy that they provide, and using them in new ways in like our healing, I think, on a large scale. So that's really, really cool as well. There's so many interesting shifts happening. So if you're just jumping in now, definitely say hi, share with me your intentions for the new year, what you're creating, what you're putting out into the world. I'll hold that space for you. Lori loves her crystals. Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. I started making crystal grids, and I'll charge them in like the new moon and the full moon energy, and I'll create a grid that like locks in what I want to manifest, locks in my intention, and I just find it so powerful, right? It's like, not that we need to charge our crystals in the lunar energy because they have a power of their own, but I think it's something like that's kind of connecting to the divine feminine in itself. It's like having these rituals, having a way to harness and lock in the energy of our intentions, and a reminder that when we see those crystals or when we see that grid, it locks us back into that energy of what we want to manifest. And it all comes down to energy, right? It all comes down to that. So if you can have reminders around you of that energy you want to embody, that's helpful. And crystals are a beautiful way to like do that, for sure. Cindy, bring on the crystal wisdom. Absolutely. Kenzel loves crystals. Wanda, welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look here and see if I missed any of the major themes. But I think I touched on most of the main ones. So to kind of review that all, if you're just jumping in now, we're seeing a ton of Capricorn energy this year. Stepping up, stepping into the highest and best version we can be. A reminder that we're going forward. We're not going back into old patterns. We got Chiron and Aries helping us harness that energy of self-love, realizing it all comes from that place. And as we connect to our higher self, it's easy. It's easy to be in the energy of love because that's what our soul ultimately, it vibrates to the energy of love, so we can return there. We also have eclipses, 3 eclipses happening in Capricorn. We've got our North Node in Cancer helping us welcome in that divine feminine energy, activate our intuitive gifts. Neptune in Pisces helping us activate our intuitive powers as well. Jupiter in Sagittarius bringing us to new adventures. So really, really exciting stuff. And once again, if you want a personal reading to see your unique astrology for 2019, I do have a few spots left. It's filling up super quickly because we're almost at the end of December now, so or I guess mid-December. So I do have a few spots left for end of December if you want to know your unique astrology for 2019. And I can also offer, as part of this, a clearing of old patterns, old energy, and an activation of your unique soul gifts. So you can go into 2019 feeling like a new person, embodying this new energy, and just ready to manifest your goals, ready to welcome more pleasure and enjoyment into your life. Because we, as you probably know now after hearing the astrology, we have some exciting things coming this year. And to receive that in your life, the main thing is just like opening up and saying yes to that, saying yes to yourself, knowing you are worthy, and be aware moment to moment, be conscious. Don't go into default mode. Consciously choose what you're activating, what you're tapping into each moment, and then you can't help but create the life that you want moment by moment. All right, goddesses, so thank you for hanging out. If you're on the replay, feel free to continue to ask any of the questions that you have. I'm happy to come back, answer them for you, and definitely will be checking in on all your comments as well. So sending lots of love and light to you all, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.